Hey, Chaver, how you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf 9 of Masechta Sotah, friends. Friends, today we got, it's kind of a Gadata'i. We'll try to get from one Mishnah to the next Mishnah. Here's the thing, friends. I'm in a big rush because I got to get to the cemetery. Because basically cemeteries are like pretty much, essentially the only way to get me out of my routine. Tell me like you need me to go to the cemetery for a funeral or like to make a minyan for a yurtzeit. I have a hard time saying no to that. I'd say over the past 3+ years, I'd say 90% of the time that I've sort of been taken out of my routine was to go to the cemetery. So I have to go to the cemetery to help make a minyan for a yurtzeit. So, okay, fine. So I'm just gonna try to. So I got to leave the house in like 20 minutes, and we got a daf to do. So, friends, let's do it. So, okay, it says the Mishnah on daf Ches Amud Beis. But by the way, if ever you wanna hang out with me, invite me to the cemetery, and unless like I'm mamish have a conflict, I'll probably say yes. We could schmooze on the way there, the way back. Okay. All right. Says says the Mishnah. Daf Chesem Beis. Bring coffee. Make it a coffee date. All right. Says the Mishnah. Daf Chesem Beis. B'midash adam moded. Also chasanas, I guess. If I get invited to chasana, I'll generally go to that, but not always. Cemetery is a better bet. Okay. B'midash adam moded ba modin lo. So the way that basically mida keneged mida, right? The way that a fellow acts, that's how they act to him. He kashta es atzma la'averi hamakom novla. So she made herself all beautiful to commit adultery. God makes her all unbeautiful. He gilsa es atzma la'averi. She revealed herself for sinning. Hamakom gila aleh gila aleh. And she gets exposed during this whole Sotah thing. When she was doing this avera and having an affair, so it began with her kind of hips and then went to her stomach. So the same thing. So also, therefore she shall be smitten in her hips first, and then her stomach. And also the rest of her body does not fare much better. Amar Yosef says, Yosef afagab demida betela b'mida lo batil. Even though, yes, we don't have misos bezdin anymore, we don't have capital punishment anymore, but the spirit of the capital punishments still exists. So the Amar of Yosef that even though after the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, we no longer have a Sanhedrin, but we still have the 4 capital punishments. What do you mean that we still have them? We don't have them. No, sort of the concept, I don't know what the word is, but the spirit of the matter, the letter of the law, the motivation behind I don't know. They're still there sort of in some way. And here we go. Mishnah Chayiv Skila. Let's say a person was Chayiv Skila, so we're not going to stone him anymore, but maybe he'll fall off a roof, or maybe a wild animal, a wild beast will trample on him. Mishnah Chayiv Sreifa, somebody who needs to be Sreifa, burned. Nofel B'Dleika, maybe he falls into a fire. Nochash Makisho, or maybe a snake bites him and the venom burns him. Mishnah Chayiv Hariga, somebody who needs to get his head plopped off with a sword. Nimsula Malchus, so maybe he'll be handed over to the king, and the king will plop off his head with a sword. Or Liston Boy and Olive, or maybe bandits will come and attack him and plop his head off with a sword. And Mishnah Chayiv Chanika, or somebody needs to be strangled. Or Tovea Banar, maybe he'll drown to death. Or Meis Besronki, maybe he'll die in some kind of throat thing that makes you not be able to breathe. Tanya Rebbe Rebbe would say, although I think that Gos Tzionim actually does change it to Reb Meir. How do we know that in the way that a fellow acts, that's how we act towards the fellow? Shenemar, as the Apostle says, that in this measure you will be sent away. So okay, so I know like sort of a sa'ah's measures worth of stuff, of bad stuff, I guess. Minayin l'rabos tarkav. What about if it's 3 kavs, half a saw, v'chatzi tarkav, or half of a tarkav, kav v'chetzi, v'chatzi kav, or what about 1 kav, half a kav, rova, a quarter of a kav, v'chatzi rova, or half of that, an eighth of a kav, I guess, tomen, v'uchla, these other smaller amounts, minayin, how do I know that there's also like that amount of nudnikness adds up? Tamalomar, the pasuk says, "Ki kol seon soin barash," that all of these different measures are included. Uminayin shekol pruta ufruta mitzterefes lecheshbon gadol. And how do we know that every little bit of bad adds up to a big amount of bad? Tamalomar, the pasuk says, "Achas laachas limtzo cheshbon," that all these little bits that make a final calculation. And we see by Sotah that in the way that she acted, that's how it was acted towards her. That she stood by the entrance of her house to be seen to this fellow. So therefore the Kohen has her stand at Shar Nicanor, the entrance to the Azara, and shows her embarrassment to everybody. He parsalo sudarin na'in al rosha. She put these beautiful cloths on her head. Therefore the Kohen takes the cloth from her head and puts it under her feet. He kashta lo panel. She made her face all beautiful. Therefore her face gets drained by the Sotah waters. He kachla lo enel. She put on this like eye stuff. I guess there's like stuff that you put on your eyes to make your eyes look nice. Lefichach enel boltos. Therefore her eyes kind of like get all boltos-y when the Sotah makes them all botos-y. He kala lo es sire. She braided her hair. Lefichach kohen soser es sire. Therefore the kohen undoes the braids of her hair. He heres lo be'etzba. She pointed to the fellow with her finger like, "Hey, kimaran, come over here." Lefichach tziponea noshos. That's why her fingernails fall out. He chigra lo betziltzul. She put on a very fancy belt for him. Lefichach kohen mevi chevel hamitzri v'koshlo l'madim bidadel. That is why the kohen brings this rope and ties it above her breasts. He pashta lo es yirecha. She extended towards this fellow her hips. Lefichach yirecha nofalas. That is why her hips, her thighs fall. He kibalto al kresa. She received him on her stomach. Lefichach bit notzava. That's why her stomach explodes or implodes. Something bad happens to her stomach. She fed him these delicious, delectable treats. Therefore, she gets her korban is the opposite. It's animal food. It's barley flour. She gave him to drink gewaldige wine and gewaldige cups. Therefore, the Kohen gives her bitter waters in an earthenware vessel. She acted in hiddenness. The Eibishter who sits in hiddenness puts his focus on her to get her in trouble. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, Ein no eif shomer neshef lemerlo tishureni oyin v'gomer, that a fellow who's being inappropriate is going to do it in private and think that nobody can see. Okay, fine. Okay. Alternatively, he also saw Baseser Amokum Piercing Abugali. She acted in hiddenness, and the Eibishter revealed it in the Eibishter revealed it. Shneimar, the pasuk says, "T'chasa sino be mashon," that hate is hidden in darkness. Together also bakal, and yet it is revealed in public. Excuse me 1 second. Do I need to? No, I don't. Okay, fine. Okay, Gevaldig. Where am I? I gotta go to the cemetery soon. So then, we basically learned 3 psukim before. Like, how do we know this midah stuff, right? We said we learned one pasuk b'saisa b'shalechet rivena, another pasuk of kikol se'on soin barash, another pasuk of achas lachas limtzo cheshbon. So once already we have the final pasuk, which seems to have settled any other question. So kol se'on soin barash lamli. Why do I need this other pasuk of kol se'on soin barash? So l'chimida. Well, that one gives sort of more of the measurements, right? We said the sa'ah and the tarkav and the chatzi tarkav, etc. So now that we have the pasuk of Kikol Sa'on Soin Brash, so B'saisa B'Shalecha Tirivena Lomali, why do I need that other pasuk of B'saisa B'Shalecha? So the Avchinina by Pape, the Mavchina by Pape, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu Nifamina Uma Ad Shas Shilucha, that the Eibishter only gets a nation in trouble at the time that it's being destroyed. When I'm sending away the nation, when I'm destroying the nation, that is when they get in big trouble. Ini, is that really true? But Rava says, how come there are 3 of these sort of like negative cups by Mitzrayim? Basically, they got destroyed 3 times. Achas sheshosos bimei Moshe, one of these terrible drinks, like cups of destruction that they drank during the days of Moses, when the Yidden left. Achas sheshosos bimei Paranake, and one that they drank during when Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Egypt. And one that they in the future will drink along with all their friends. Right, so the question is that apparently Egypt continued to exist even after they kept on getting destroyed. So how could Rav Chanina bar Papa say that when that basically when the Eibishter is destroying a nation, it's final? But Egypt seems to still exist. And if you're going to say, well, the Egypt, each subsequent Egypt was a newly rebuilt Egypt after the previous one was entirely destroyed. But says Rabbi Yehuda, Minyamin Gera Mitzri, says Rabbi Yehuda that I had a friend who was also a student of Rabbi Akiva. His name was Minyamin Gera Mitzri. Minyamin Gera Mitzri, and Minyamin Gera Mitzri said, Ani Mitzri Rishon, I am a first generation Mitzri, Vinasasi Mitzris Rishon, and I married a Mitzris who was also a first generation Mitzriya, right? Because of course we know that Egyptian converts are not allowed to marry into the Kahal for 3 generations, as we learned in Masechta Yevamis. So Minyamin Ger HaMitzri says, look, I understand this halacha. I'm a first generation Mitzri. I've married a first generation Mitzris. Asi Livni Mitzris Shnia. My son, who's a second generation, I'll marry to a second generation Mitzris. Kadeshi Ben Bini Mutulava Bakal. And then the 3rd generation will be able to marry into the congregation of Israel. So we see that that even during the time of Rabbi Akiva, he was right. There was still this halacha about the 3rd generation of Mitzrayim, which means that clearly the Mitzrayim of Rabbi Akiva's time were the same Mitzrayim as during the times of Moses. So Eli Itmar Itmar. Rather, if you have the way to understand Rabbi Chanina bar Papa's statement is in the following way: Amar Rabbi Chanina bar Papa in a Kadosh Baruch Hu nifra min hamelech ad shas shilucha. No, it's not about a nation. The nation could survive, but the king, he's going to be in big trouble when he gets sent away. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, besides that when the king gets sent away, it's final. So a Meimar teaches that of Rav Chanina bar Papa, the original statement of Rav Chanina bar Papa, where he talked about the nation. When the nation is sent away, it's final. So what does the pasuk mean? That I am God, I haven't changed. Okay, and you, the children of Jacob, have not been destroyed. Ani Hashem lo shanisi lo ikesi l'umav v'shanisi lo. So remember, the initial way that we learned through Rav Chanina bar Papa was that when a nation is being destroyed, it's absolute, it's final, right? So therefore, when God says Ani Hashem lo shanisi, I've never, so it means to change, but also to duplicate. So I've never duplicated a punishment to a nation, meaning there's only one the nation only gets punished once, and then they're gone. There's not going to be a second. But you, the children of Jacob, I have not destroyed you. That's what the pasuk says. It says in the Tochacha that I will empty all of my arrows in them. My arrows are going to be no more. But the Yidden are not going to be destroyed. The Yidden will still survive. Amar Rav Hamnuna says, so also a fellow only pays, punishes a fellow once sort of his fill of nudnikness has been completed. Shneimar says, "B'malos sveiko." B'mlos sifko yetzer lo. That only once his nudnikness reaches a tipping point, that's when he gets in trouble. Darshab Chanina bar Papa, Chanina bar Papa Darshan. What does the pasuk mean? Ranu tzadikim b'Hashem la'Hashem navasilo. That rejoice, O righteous ones in God, to the straight ones, praise is good. Nava, don't teach like beautiful and good. Tehillah ela noveh, Tehillah, his home, his abode, which he built. Zet Moshe v'David is a reference to Moses and David. Shelo shaltu soneim b'maasehim, that their enemies did not sort of get benefit from their activities, from their actions, from what they built. David ichsiv tova ba'aretz sha'areh, that David, it says that the gates that the gates of Zion just got swallowed into the ground, so that the enemies couldn't take them. Moshe the Amar Mar Mishnivna Mikdash Rishon Nignaz Ol Moed, that, and also Moshe's handiwork of the tabernacle, that when the Beis Hamikdash was built, so the tabernacle was hidden away forever. Nignaz Ol Moed, Krosov, Uvricha V'Amudav, all of the beams and stuff. V'Adonov, Heicha, where are these things hidden away? Amar V'Chizdeh Amar Avimi Tachas Mechilos Shel Heicha. They're underneath the Kodesh HaKodashim somewhere, deep in the ground, I imagine, is the Ol Moed. Wow. Tana Rabbanan, the Rabbi said, Sotah nos neineh b'mi she'eino ro'i lo. A Sotah placed her eyes in somebody who she wasn't allowed to be with, right? She's a married woman. She had an affair with a fellow. Mashabik lo nitan lo. That which she wanted, she didn't get, right? She's never allowed to marry, right? Even when even if she, right, that she admits it, or there are witnesses, whatever it is, and now she can't remain with her husband. She can't now go and marry the person who she had an affair with. And and that which she has, they took away from her husband. She can't remain with her husband. Because anybody who puts their eyes in that which does not belong to them, that which they want, we don't give to them. And not only that, but that which they have, we take away from them. We see the same thing by the snake, by Adam and Eve. That he placed his eyes in that which was not fit him. That which he desired, they did not give to him. And that which he had, they took away from him. I said that the snake would be the king on all of the animals and on all of the beasts. There's an interesting Rashi here. It says Yehei Melech on the second wide line of Rashi. Yehei Melech shelechacha so aru mikol. Interesting. That because the snake was meant to be the king, that is why God made him so sneaky. I guess it sounds to me like the implication is that kings are sneaky, or that you have to be sneaky to be a king. So, and now, but now because of what the snake did with Eve, he is cursed among all of the animals, and all the beasts of the field. I said that, right, that the snake would walk properly, but now it's just going to slither around on his stomach. I thought that that the snake would eat human food. No, it's just going to eat dirt food. Who Amar Erog as Adam Vesa as Chava, the snake, the Nachash thought that he would kill Adam and marry Eve. Achshav Eva Oshes Beincha Uven Aisha Uven Zarach Uven Zara. That now I'm going to put friction between you and Eve and your offspring and her offspring. V'Korach, Uvilam, V'Doyeg, V'Achitofel, V'Gechazi, V'Avshalom, V'Adonio, V'Uzio, V'Hamon, and all of them as well, that they placed their eyes in that which was not fit to them, that wasn't deserved, that they didn't deserve, that didn't belong to them, they didn't have a right to, that they weren't allowed to have access to. Mashabikshu lo nitan loem, and it was not given. What they wanted was not given to them. Mashabiyodam salum and mehem, that which they had, they took away from them. She began the aver with her hips, and then so then she gets punished first with her hips. How do we know this? If you're going to say it's because it's written, that God will make your hips fall and your stomach implode, something. But it says, wait, no, first the stomach is going to explode, implode, get destroyed, stuff, and then the thighs, hips. Abai says, that when, in terms of the curse, so yeah, the hips were cursed first and then the stomach. But at the end of the day, in terms of the punishment being carried out, it's first going to be the stomach and then the hips. first the stomach and then the thighs. When you drink it, it first goes to your stomach. Oh, my neighbor is singing outside, but that's okay because we got one line left. Biklala nami ksiv. Also, I think she's probably watering my plants, so I can't really get upset with her for singing while she's watering my plants. I don't water them. So biklala nami ksiv. It says by the klala latzvos betim v'lampel yorich that it's going to be the stomach and then the wait, what? I'm sorry, I got distracted. So, but one second. But by the curse, it also says first the stomach and then the thighs. Right? We had said first by the curse, it's first the thighs and then the stomach. But in practicality, when she drinks it, first it's the stomach and then the thighs. But we see by the curse also the thighs and then the stomach. No, the stomach and then the thighs. Kohen the betim bereisha v'adu yerich shelo tzilas amayim amayim. No, that's just saying that the Kohen lets her know that first it's going to start with the stomach and then the thighs because because that just makes sense. If you drink it, it hits your stomach first. So nobody should get the wrong ideas like what that makes no sense. That the thighs and then stomach. Everyone knows that first you drink it, it goes to your stomach and then the thighs. So therefore, to prevent that situation, the Kohen explains that it's first going to be the stomach and then the thighs. But in terms of the technical curse, the thighs are cursed and then the stomach. Okay, friends, we're going to stop here because we got up to Mishnah and also I think I was planning to stop there anyways, even though it's super high up. But we start tomorrow basically a whole Agaritan Shimshon that's going to go for a while. So just figure we'll just do it all at once. And Lamaisa I do have to run. Peace out, friends.